Hello, and welcome to the Grand Cinema Hotel, a podcast hosted by two friends who love cinema. I'm Gus, and I'm joined with my co-host Alvaro. Tonight, you'll be staying in Room 148, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, directed by Ryan Coogler. So go ahead, get comfortable, and throw on that Do Not Disturb sign as we watch the latest MCU entry, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Are you?
I have many names. My people call me Kukungkan. But my enemies call me Namor. I need to know if Wakanda is an ally or an enemy.
What's going on, all my MCU heads, and thank you for checking back into the Grand Cinema Hotel for a very special episode. This is the first official Marvel entry into the Grand Cinema Hotel, a room that is. We talked about some in lobby talks before, but here we are today to talk about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. I'm here with Alvaro.
What's up, guys?
Let's just crack this open, man. We're here to talk about the MCU, the Black Panther movie, and I think it's time to get out our feelings about how we really are dealing with this universe, you know?
Yeah, as the podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what's up, guys? We've obviously talked about it in lobby talks before. We're actually pretty, I would say, fair fans of the MCU as for a long majority. Yeah, for a long majority of its time. I know Gus specifically really followed the whole.
I was there since the very first Iron Man till now, you know.
And like even when we had the Infinity Saga ending, we were all really into it. You know, it was really exciting the way it ended, and I still, even watching those movies back now, which I have to see if it was just something a nostalgic. I still do like them.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is one thing I wanted to harp on as well, is that I have gone back and watched some of the older ones to see if it was just a younger Gus who enjoyed those movies, and it's not. Like, there really is standout Marvel movies that I have enjoyed, and I just think the product is deteriorating at a very fast rate.
And I think I like that because I would like to segue kind of into how this will turn into the movie, but that I think the difference is the A-listers, and we were talking about that is the people who were in these movies, and Wakanda Forever obviously suffered from real life issues that made this movie kind of have to sidetrack into something else. But I think that's, aside from this movie, I think a lot of the actors that we're getting in phase 4 is a little underwhelming for me, at least.
Yeah, definitely. And we don't have to dance around the subject much longer. I mean, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman.
Exactly.
He was an amazing actor. I mean, he seemed like a great person as well. We don't usually do this kind of stuff where, like, I would vouch for an actor's personality, but he meant a lot to a lot of people, and he was bigger than the MCU, you know? Like, I know that is what made him who he is, although he's done a ton of other incredible work. Like, my first interaction with Chadwick Boseman was 42, the Jackie Robinson movie, and I thought he was phenomenal in that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you have, like, the James Brown movie and other roles that he's done, and this was an A-list movie star, like someone really on top of their game. And you know, his family, the MCU, the world really lost like a special actor. Like, I was legitimately sad when Chadwick Boseman died.
Yeah,
I
agree.
I was just like, fuck, like this was a guy. Like, we talked about Daniel Kaluuya previously when we did like Nope and Get Out, and like how he is a very special talent as well. But I feel like Chadwick Boseman was there too, but he was getting, I don't want to say lost in the Marvel stuff, but he was the best part of a lot of these things that he was in since Civil War, you know?
I think it just made so much sense that maybe we felt that way, but seeing where the phase 4 is, I think he was the A-lister that was going to carry a lot of what this new Avengers team.
I did think going forward that he would be like the captain of the Avengers, like when they eventually made another Avengers movie.
Like, I know now it's kind of been given to Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, and
he doesn't even want it.
But that's he has issues with the movies the same way we do, it seems like, from his interviews. So I think that's what's a little sad is Chadwick Boseman was committed, and I think even in retrospect, the first Black Panther movie is one of my favorite movies in
Me
this
too.
whole universe.
And I felt that way since the beginning, not just saying that now. I know that when we saw it way back in the day, I told him, like, that's probably my favorite MCU movie.
It had everything like we're talking about. It had him, and it had Ryan Coogler still having a lot of his artistic, I think, input. They allowed more of it.
Yeah, and I say what you will. I'm sure this probably, he never really meant it when he said it, but when Francis Ford Coppola, he's kind of a mentor to Ryan Coogler in some way through their USC connection. And he treated, he made the statement that Black Panther was like a real movie. Like, this is really art. And bad CGI aside, we'll get to that later. I did think that the first Black Panther movie, although it is a little derivative, but what fucking movie isn't? You know what I mean? That I just really, really enjoyed that movie. And it was off the back of Chadwick Boseman and Michael B. Jordan and that relationship that they had. And like, it felt like real movie tension. It felt Shakespearean, and as stupid as it is to say that when you're talking about an MCU movie, but I did think that he brought that gravitas that no one else brings, really.
But I mean, even in the first one, your supporting cast, you have Lupita Nyong'o, you have Daniel Kaluuya, you have Angela Bassett, you have Letitia Wright.
However you say it.
And you have Letitia Wright, who I have no issue with being a supporting cast member. Yeah. You know what I mean?
She was the man in the chair, the woman in the chair.
I have no issue with her whatsoever in the first movie. And we'll get into, obviously, that as we talk about this movie more. But I think that's where the MCU as a whole seems to have lost. It's almost like it really, in real life, lost those actors, and they can't really recover from that. But at least from our aspect, because I will say that this movie is just as packed as any other MCU movie. When we went to go watch Doctor Strange, which was another movie that was it had its moments where I liked it. All these movies have its moments where I'm like, this is why I used to watch these, or this is why I really used to like these. But now it's just segment. It's not necessarily a lot of it. And ironically enough, this movie had a lot of its runtime where I did feel like I really liked it, but it just loses me at the end with a lot of the problems the whole MCU in this phase has.
Do you want to do spoilers? I feel like we don't really have to talk about it. I guess let's just do the blanket one now, because I feel like the marketing and just Twitter and everything else has kind of already exposed this. But I would say the only spoiler going forward, so we can talk about the movie, is that Shuri is the Black Panther.
Yeah. Which is disappointing to me.
I guess I built up to it, I got more comfortable with it the more it went along, because it was causing her character to have a more interesting arc than I thought was even possible for her. Yeah. And I know that this is not untreaded water. Like, they've done this before in the comics where Shuri has been the Black Panther, so it's not like they really it's not like they were reaching.
It's not a far-fetched idea.
This, know. But I just don't think that. No offense to Letitia Wright, that she's not Chadwick Boseman, and it's just a shitty thing, Like, not to give this movie an excuse or anything, because I don't particularly like this movie, but I just think that you are put between a rock and a hard place with this movie. And like, you asked me, you're like, well, what should they have done? And my honest answer is they probably should not have made this movie, or pushed it even farther away, or I don't know. But that's just how I feel, is that this movie probably shouldn't exist, even though I do love Namor.
Yeah, which is a whole other aspect of why I did like this movie. But I mean, there's so many things that I think. Okay, for example, something that bugged me a little bit, or has just kind of made me not connect. Yeah, is the fact that I didn't watch, and I won't watch, is Captain America and the Winter Soldier and Falcon, right? Or Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Yeah,
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
See, but that's where Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character is from, and in terms of what she represents. And she's been in so many of these movies now, and I'm just like because I refuse to watch that show. I'm not tuned. Like, I have to watch everything.
I used to not mind that, though.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, now it's because I don't care about the characters that are left. These, like, Anthony Mackie, again, not a character that I see as a lead role. Very well for a supporting role, yes.
Yeah, like, I did love him as Falcon. I always thought he had some funny comedic timing, and that, like, he would come in clutch. Like, I always thought that he got his due justice, and was it Endgame, when he comes back and he's like, I'm on your left, and he goes and he drops off.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Cool.
Like, I was like, cool. Falcon has his
sick
moments,
line.
but I don't see him, like, even Sam Wilson Captain America, it's just not there. And I think this all stems back to the very beginning of the MCU. Like, honestly, they made movies with the characters they had, not the ones they wanted to. They didn't have the X-Men, they didn't have the Fantastic Four, and they didn't have Spider-Man, the three biggest Marvel characters, you know? Like, I know the two of them are groups, but that's what Marvel was. And I know people probably don't remember that.
But that's it.
But Iron Man, Captain America, even the Hulk to some extent, Thor, those are all B and C characters. Like, that's not what the 90s and the early 2000s was about. Like, and now we're on the DF list characters.
Ironheart.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like just characters that are unoriginal copies of the B characters, you know? And it's sad because Black Panther is amazing lore, cool fucking character. Everything about, I love the sci-fi aspect of it. I love like the historical, like mythical aspect of it, but the MCU as a whole just feels like it's so far into its own like ass that it's impossible now to like crawl out of it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's funny too because like DC can't even get this right with their A-list characters. Marvel got it right with their B-list, but now they don't, I feel like they don't even understand what they're doing anymore. It really does feel like that.
It feels like such a, because we get these annual Disney, you know, like they always let us know their plans, and it's always the MCU.
Here's the
Pixar.
5 movies you'll watch this year, and here's the 5 ones you'll watch next year, and here's the 10 TV shows you'll watch.
And it seems like this phase seems like it's just a layover. You know, it's like they've already accepted that we just need to get past this. And it does have to do with, unfortunately, his passing, Chadwick Boseman, because I used to feel like plans were really derailed. But I think the only real thing that I've really walked out of here, this phase so far, really being in love with is Kang, the introduction of Kang.
See, I didn't watch Loki. Don't care. Like I've had enough. You know, he's been in the Avengers movies. He's been in the Thor movies. I don't fucking care about Loki's adventure side quest. And I do think it's become less accessible over time, the MCU, because now it has become like, this is the equivalent of being the comic book reader of, oh, well, did you see Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Because then that's the only reason you're going to know who this character is. Yeah. And before, you know, it was easy to manage before when it was 3 movies a year and that was it, you know? Like, that's why it was fun. But now it's overkill. It feels like homework. Like, how many Marvel things have you seen this year?
And it's not like it's the best content.
No, so...
Content.
Yeah, it's content.
Yeah,
it's not
because that is content.
You know? Oh, Scorsese was right. Who could have seen this coming?
You know,
but we do have to talk about the movie itself.
Of course.
I mean, I'll continue to take jabs at Marvel because, you know what? I'm not going to feel bad about punching up at the billion-dollar corporation, you know? And I don't know if this is like a disconnect between the two of us, but I have heard you say like, well, what do you expect, or like what more could it be than this? But it does feel like it was more like that. It was doing its best before, that it had the intent to be the best it could be before. And I feel like they've gone so far over now, like with the profit over quality, that it's like a disservice to the people who helped get this to where it was, you know, like the fans. Like not that I would say I feel betrayed by these children's stories, but just, you know, it's like I was there. I saw all 20 movies. I punched my tickets and I got the stamp card so I could watch Infinity War and Endgame. And then for the post of it to just be this, it just feels like a punch in the gut, you know?
Yeah, I think
there's no reason why the billion-dollar movie corporation who's number one in the world can't make good stuff. Like, that's the embarrassing part, is that they take up so much space. Like, we were trying to decide what we were going to do next week for the pod, and there's only 2 other movies playing because Black Panther is taking up every other screen. And this is what we're being given. Like, it's one thing if it was actually the best product, but it's not. And we're being people are being not forced to watch it, but if you do want to go to the movies, your only other option is to see the menu. And it's like, there's a bunch of other good movies out right now. Like, we're behind the scenes, we're literally dealing with like, fuck, well, what should we do next? There's so many good movies right now.
Yeah.
But can I see any of them? No, I don't get to watch After Sun because Black Panther is taking up 25 fucking screens at the movies.
Yeah.
And this is the product I'm getting. You know, if it was like if it was undeniably the best, I could understand, but it's not even anywhere near that. It's not even as good as it was 5 years ago, which is sad. Shouldn't it only be getting better the more it builds, you know? The more resources you have, the more access to actors. Like any actor's going to sign up and do this shit. Why would they not?
I think that's the issue. For me personally, I think that's what it comes down to. The stories relatively feel the same, but it's just the actors in the seats aren't convincing.
Well, you know, I have not seen Black Widow, so I'm not going to use this too much of an example, but Florence Pugh, wonderful actor, one of the best young working actors we have right now. Do I really give a fuck about Yelena Balabalov, whatever the fuck her name is? No, I don't.
Yeah.
And is that Florence Pugh's fault? No, because I would argue that Florence Pugh could be like the most talented actor that's ever appeared in the MCU. Like, but is she being put to any good use? Most likely not.
Yeah. I mean, that's, again, in terms of artistically speaking or in the point of view of this podcast, I think that's a good complaint, but general audience doesn't
in
seem
my
to
point
care.
of view, the MCU can no longer be referred to as artistically in any sense. It's not, to me, it has gone past being art at all. Like, I really do believe that. And yes, you can make fun content or whatever, you know, like it's just not, it's not art anymore. It's way past that now at this point.
Yeah, see, because I do understand. I understand that point of view, and I guess I do see the other side. Like Sam Raimi's Doctor Strange movie only looks like that because Sam Raimi did it. So I do see artistic values in the movies, but I don't necessarily think they outweigh Marvel's or Disney's hand. So that's why I think it's really lacking. I don't know who directed Iron Man, so there was no stylistic choices before.
It's Jon Favreau, man.
Yeah, you know,
this is all because Jon Favreau made Iron Man. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So I don't think any of the movies before, like Thor: The Dark World, I think that's aesthetically one of the worst movies I've seen. So
you know what's
I don't
funny,
think
though, is that you say you wouldn't recognize Iron Man from the artistic style, but everybody remembers The Mandalorian, and Jon Favreau did that, you know, and like you could like that is more. I wouldn't even say artistic because I really don't think it is, but that is a quality product. You know what I mean? Of like, okay, this is content, but I do see okay, I get why you're selling me this. Like, it looks entertaining.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying is that it's not like I've ever looked at the MCU as artistic. Like Thor, like the Ragnarok, like that's artistic. Like that movie was artistic, but that's what I mean though. In what terms of as Disney's going to take as big as risk as it does not want to offend China, right? That's what we were talking about.
Oh yeah,
like it's as big as risk as it could take, and like I can't expect these movies to take any more risk anymore. Like I never really expected them to, and even when I go in retrospect, like I like them, and I don't feel like they've changed so much. I just think the actors I don't like as much.
Well, see, I disagree with that because it's like that 20 movie buildup was the biggest risk you could take. Of that, we're going to build this product. We're going to build this story, and it's going to be like a comic book where you had to have read every side story for it to make sense, right? So I do think that they set out in the beginning and they accomplished their like artistic goal, which was the Infinity Saga. But now it feels like, it honestly does feel like they should have left, you know? And I know that's never going to happen, and that's a ridiculous argument to throw out there, is that Marvel should have just stopped making movies. But it's like Michael Jordan playing for the Wizards, or like the unfortunate shit going on with LeBron James playing with the Lakers right now. It's like you're just wasting away now, or Tom Brady right now with the Buccaneers. You know what I mean? It's like, why did you not just go out on top?
Yeah.
And of course that's never going to happen, but realistically that's probably what should happen.
Because their whole thing
There's
is
nothing left for them. They won. They did what they were going to do.
They established their characters, like we were talking about, their B and C characters, and now it's in terms of trying to maintain with their D characters, and some still B or whatever, some lingering of Thor still an A, you know, and trying to linger that into getting into the Fantastic Four or the X-Men. And I think that's kind of some of its downfall, is that maybe they're saving some of these really good actors for some of the really good roles, but it's like, how do you maintain?
I'm glad you said that.
Because like, it's like you also have like the whole
said that though.
What's up?
Is because this is not your opinion. I'm not trying to put this on you, but since you said it, on Reddit there's a post right now going around, and it was like, people were saying like, this is the ultimate copium I've ever seen, and it was like, so the phase 4 is bad on purpose, right? Because they're saving all of it for later. Like, so it's on purposely bad right now.
No. That's not what I'm saying.
I know you're not saying
yeah,
that.
that's not what
I
I'm
wanted
saying.
to bring that up because that is even the diehard Marvel fans can no longer like fathom an argument for why this is like good. You know what I mean? Like in their heads now, it's become like, oh well, this has to be bad on purpose, right? Like that is the ultimate sign of like delusion at this point, that it's got to be bad on purpose.
Yeah, because it's like, I don't know. It's like if you were to compare, like the Lakers when they won the championship to the team now, be like, yeah, the team is really bad. Like, but you're comparing it to something that was really good. Like, so it's they can't recapture that lightning in a bottle with Robert Downey Jr. And what are they supposed to do that? Because it's like, that's not, as a studio, you could try to force that as much as you want, but it's not down to the studio. It's down to a director and cast relationship, which, I mean, in this movie seems to be the closest we've gotten to possibly the cast being connected to the director. And that's why, like, I do see artistic choices in this movie, especially in a lot of the shots, but I don't think they outweigh what Disney wants to do. And I think that's so set on getting to where phase 4, phase 5, phase 6 that you can't make artistic choices that would make these movies better, because you're supposed to, there's a set destination.
I don't even think they're artistic choices. I think they're storytelling choices. Like, you can't, the story has to fit in. It can't be its own story. And I think the
villain has to lose.
I think they've tried to thread this weird line of like, now that we did the whole collective story, let's try to make these individual stories, and everybody's like, these fucking suck. So it's not, I don't even know what they should do, you know, because like Black Panther, the original one, was pretty much a standalone movie. The only thing that it had going for it to connect it to the rest of the MCU was that Claw had been mentioned before in other movies. Like, he was in Iron Man 2, I believe, or he was in the Avengers movie that had Ultron, right? Mm-hmm. But and the post-credit scene of Bucky being there, right? But it didn't have anything to do with the MCU. But it was good. But then when you see other stuff like Shang-Chi, and it was like, is this good? You know, like I personally do like that movie. Those are the only 2 movies I liked in this entire phase. But I feel like they can't get it right now, because I don't think the audiences want it to be connected still, but the individual storytelling choices are not very good either, you know?
I mean,
it's just not good right now.
But that's what I mean.
The whole thing is not good right now.
It's like, you could say that. That's what I'm saying. Is the other argument of the side is, but this is packed. Nobody else has issues with these things. This movie has another the 2 villains in Martin Scorsese's life, Marvel movies and Rotten Tomatoes, have given this a good score, and reviewers are giving this a good score. That's like there's nothing like you could sit here and obviously personal preference, like we don't like these movies, but there's nothing wrong.
But I did like these movies. It's not that I have this like hate in my heart for them. You know what I mean? Like, I want them to be good, not because I want the evil corporation to win, because I want all movies to be good. Like, I don't go to a movie and I'm a consumer. Huh? Yeah, I'm a fucking consumer. Like, I have a podcast. Half the point of this job is to fucking make you guys want to see this movie.
Yeah.
Well, not this one specifically, but is spreading the love of consuming. You know what I mean? Like, that's literally what we do on this show. Is I want as many things to be good as possible, and it's not meeting the standard. And I do feel like a lot of people feel that way. And I don't think the dollars have anything to do with it. I mean, you don't like Avatar. Like, that was the #1 movie of all time. Like, and did it have anything to do with how good it was? Not really. But at least with Avatar, they're pushing the creative boundaries of what you could actually do with technology, and I don't see Marvel doing that at all.
And I guess that's like what it comes down to. Be like, Blockbuster's always been a blockbuster to me, and these look and feel like a blockbuster, but they are, they've always been kind of soulless.
If you want to be a blockbuster, Jaws and Close Encounters of the Third Kind and Nope exist in this same realm, and their stories are just as. You could argue that in all realness that Jaws is a dumb fucking story. It'd be like, you have this evil shark that wants to kill people. Be like, that is a dumb children's story, but the art behind it, like the storyteller behind it, makes it this story, that's actually enjoyable. And I don't feel like Marvel is doing that from a storytelling standpoint. And I also don't feel like they're pushing the boundaries of what's possible with filmmaking.
But no, I agree. And I agree with that.
Which is why not? You're the only one who has the resources to do it.
But let's say, like, I don't have these notes at the top of my head. Maybe we discussed them on the episode, but like in general consensus, people do not like Nope. People like this movie more than they like Nope.
Well, of course they're gonna, but it's a built-in product.
No, I know, but then that's what I'm saying. What is the, and we talked about the Northman too. What is the studio's point of view into why to invest so much time and money into artistic expression when they don't even pay off as much as this movie is?
I mean, yeah, I see the fucking doing the devil's advocate thing, but I know that's not how you feel about it.
No, because it's like I'm just saying, like,
So I don't want to argue with that when it's like I know you don't feel that way.
No, because
you're
it's like,
just saying that's what the other side feels like, and well, guess what? My answer is the other side is fucking wrong.
because like I could express wanting change in it, but there's not going to change. They're not going to change something that is benefiting them more, or that most people like more than us. People like us that we watch these other movies. Some of the other movies we're going to discuss after this movie in the coming weeks, like. That's our stuff, you know, and I feel like it so highly reflects what people actually want. And like this movie, it seems like studios, for the most part, we'll see. This movie just came out, but people are eating this up. You know what I mean? And I think that's like they're not going to change a formula that works for the majority. That's my point. Is that I understand how I could want difference, but I don't expect change.
The majority is getting smaller and smaller though, because these movies don't keep breaking the records that they used to. It's not like, oh, Doctor Strange is the highest grossing movie of all time. They're coming off making 2 of the highest grossing movies of all time, and now it's only getting smaller and smaller.
Well, what about Spider-Man?
Oh, well, yeah, that one, but it's fucking Spider-Man. Spider-Man is as big as Mickey Mouse himself.
But that's all, I feel like that's all they care about, though, is those big spurs of moment. Everything else can, like, make, I don't know, what'll this probably make, 80 in opening? Like, okay, like, that's fine. I'm just saying, be like in terms of it is just money based, and that's the issue with the whole MCU. And because I agree with what you're saying, and I would want artistic, you know, more. Just like it's just crazy because we see some of these movies that have 5 million budgets, like After Sun that we're talking about, and it's just so much more character driven, so much more story. You know, like heavier on the story, and so much more complicated and thought about.
The other thing, though, I'm thinking about what you're saying with this whole, like, this devil's advocate argument that you're throwing out, which is, it's fine. I understand people want to throw that out, but so if they're the tastemakers, why are they not who said they don't want good movies? They've decided that people don't want good movies, not the other way around. Because when these movies are very good, they do make more money, right, than these other ones that are not as good, right? So Disney could fucking grab their balls and be like, guess what? We're going to be the best and make really good shit. They've decided they don't care about making good shit. Well, no, it's not that audiences have told them, hey, we don't want you to make good stuff.
But people do think it's good. That's what I'm trying to tell you. People think that it's good. Like, people love Doctor Strange. Like, we could sit here and say that me and you don't like it, but people do. So why would they change something that me and you don't like if 2 out of the 10 people are sitting in the theater don't like it? Everybody else is like clapping, crying. That's what I'm saying is why would they change?
I just can't. I can't with this.
Because it's like we could sit here and agree, be like based on a Reddit post that some people feel the difference, but the numbers do not reflect that. Like the numbers, like people are saying they love this movie, and that's what the only thing that I'm telling you is that we can't expect change when they're eating this up.
I mean, I get it. I understand what you're saying. I just don't like that this is the route you're taking.
Oh no,
because I know you don't feel this way. So I'm like, why are you capping so hard for this?
I don't. But I'm saying, the numbers reflect that people like this,
and when have we, 2 opinionated individuals, ever felt like, well, I guess I'll just shut up because everybody else is right? No, we know they're not right.
No, but I'm just saying, no, because we're talking about these need to do this and this, and like, yeah, if they wanted to make movies for us, but they're not interested in making movies for us.
But they do think that they're making Oscar quality stuff because they keep submitting this stuff for Oscars. Like, hey, you need to be taking this as serious as you should take Decision to Leave or fucking Triangle of
Because
Sadness.
That's their devil advocate argument. Like, well, did any of those movies make as much? Did these audiences like any of those movies as much as they like this movie?
They're the ones taking up all the space. I mean, we all know the Quentin Tarantino story of how Disney threatened to sue every theater chain if they showed The Hateful Eight and pull Disney products from all future screenings if they showed The Hateful Eight. Like, so it's not like they play fair, you know what I mean? And not that they have to. They're a $1 billion corporation. Of course they're not going to play fair.
Yeah, they don't have to.
But we do know that they're also putting their foot down on the entire theater chain and not even giving you the option to watch it. Like, you know why you can't see After Sun? It's because Disney decided you're not allowed to because they want to take up the screen for it.
But I will also say just this to
they're fucking
devolve away from this conversation and go back to the movie is mutual people that we know, I've asked them multiple times to watch Barbarian. It's on HBO Max. No, don't want to. They were gonna go watch Wakanda Forever on Thursday.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's like it doesn't matter. It'd be like it doesn't matter what I could want as artistic choice from Marvel. It doesn't matter what anybody else. And we're not the only people talking about this stuff in this way. Like you said, a lot of people are obviously opening up their eyes to how much lower the quality is of these movies, but the general audience only watches 5 movies a year. And this movie fits that criteria. And it's like if you eat vegetables, how we were talking about some of the other movies we watched this weekend, you can be like, wow, this is, or if you watch movies that aren't American, you could be like, this is storytelling to me. But I definitely could see why everybody else is just like, boring, and it's sad. But this is why we made the podcast, because we see past these being boring. I do see stories in these other movies that we talk about. And in this movie, it's just, I think a lot of we talked about this before watching the movie. It's just a lot of people seem to be maybe more privy to it because of the situation and kind of scared to be like, I don't like this movie based off X, Y, and Z.
Oh, like why? Because Chadwick Boseman died. I'm not allowed to say this movie sucks.
Yeah. Like, and I think that's like some of this movie specifically has some of that too from general audiences where they're just going to take up anything that gets given because they're like sad.
Well, soon not that this argument, but this little tidbit will no longer be relevant when Twitter doesn't exist in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But I would say that maybe not Black Panther because it has a stronger, it means more to people than just being a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
But you saw it with Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh,
the whole idea of like, this is the worst fucking movie I've ever seen. Be like, so people, and it is people who used to like these movies. You know what I mean? And they're now saying this fucking sucks. And then they get called out because it's like, well, you liked this before. And it's like, yeah, but you're trying to act like Thor: Love and Thunder is as good as Infinity War was. You know what I mean? And it's like, and that is a false fucking argument to even make, is to be like, oh, well, what? Infinity War? Like, why don't you like Black Widow? Be like, because that's obviously fucking different amount of quality in those two products.
Because as a counter to everything that I am saying is Thor: Love and Thunder in contention to prove why this has gotten so much more garbage is you have Christian Bale and you have an A-lister that was Thor. So you have all the potential. You have Tessa Thompson. You have a cast that you have a director that people like, and still the quality is bad.
It's Rome right before it burns, man. Like, and I honestly can't wait to watch it fucking crumble away one day, because this is bad. I mean, like, DC movies for the most part, they're fucking bad too. This whole just, I'm so done with all the superhero stuff. I mean, there will always be things that I'll want to come back and watch or whatever, but yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like I'm not the one who decided I didn't like this anymore. It's like, you made me not like this anymore. And like, it's not that I don't want to like these movies either, Like I said, I don't mind Shang-Chi, and I don't think this movie's very good, but I would still watch it again. And we can finally get back to the fucking movie itself, because I will try to be objective. But honestly, how much do you really remember about this movie?
I mean, I've watched it twice, just as we do for every episode of the podcast.
You've also seen Tar twice recently,
yeah,
right? Like, so let's just let's kind of see what where you're gonna fall when you've been watching real movies versus this product.
Because that's what I'm saying is we reset a lot of our parameters for ranking movies or whatever, and we did that a lot based off of some of the prior movies that we've done. When I go watch a Marvel movie, I'm already set to be something in terms of, I know I'm not going to be pushed by this. I know I'm not going to be, this is forefront storytelling. Even The Mandalorian, I like that you brought it up. It just elevated Star Wars to another place. And I don't see any of these movies really changing what the MCU is doing stylistically. But based off the trailers, this movie seemed like it would attempt to do that. And I do think there is some cry of help here from Ryan Coogler to implement some of his I'm a real director.
He needs to go back to making real movies.
And I do see some of it coming out, and which is why this is one of the ones, like you said, Shang-Chi and this. And obviously Spider-Man, because I'm just Spider-Man pilled. But this one just stands out to me because there is some choices that I did like. And there are some scenes I think that I visually really did like. I think for a good amount of its runtime, it does seem to be a little too long. I don't know why it's that long. That's a big argument to me, and I think it could be cut down. I think it's as it's not as near as close as it's the original, and it's just because it doesn't have Chadwick Boseman. Because it had this same story been with Chadwick Boseman, I think we'd be talking about a different movie.
If it had Chadwick Boseman, it'd be a 3. But I honestly think it's like a 1.5. Like I really do not like this movie. So what do you like about the movie? So then maybe I can kind of bounce off of what you're saying.
I mean, there's like a bunch of
because I can honestly say the only thing I like is Namor. Like that's the only thing I like in this entire movie.
Yeah, I think I would say some of the scenes when they're burying T'Challa in the beginning, the shots from the top of like the casket, that reminds me a lot of like the nature movies that I've watched. That seems to me like, I don't know, you were saying argument that that's all CGI. To me, that looked real. I don't know if that scene specifically is all CGI. That looked to me like it was in a forest. If it is all CGI, I guess, I don't know.
Are you talking about the actual funeral of like just his loved ones where they're wearing like all white and they're in the...
Yeah.
I mean, that's real. But I'm talking about all the other stuff.
Yeah, because I mean, there's like the props of when they come, I think it's before that scene or after that. It's before that scene where they have basically all of Wakanda dancing, and I know that
I thought that looked like prequel level CGI.
Yeah, I'd be like, but yeah, I don't know
because it was so obviously fake. I literally leaned over to you in the theater. I was like, "Look how fake that looks."
But
like, I was like, specifically the people on the roof.
The background, though, right? Yeah,
but the background is an important part of the movie too.
No, I know, but that's why I was like, the background out of focus is what you're asking me. Be like, that looks fake. Like, well, yeah, that looks fake, but in the front, like where the ladies dance, that didn't look like a set to you. That looked fake too.
Yeah, it did look fake.
See, but
all of it looked fake.
Yeah, see, like I don't see that. I definitely think like, yeah, it doesn't look amazing, that's for sure. But I don't necessarily think that that's all CGI there. I do think that's a set, and I do think some of the blocking in those scenes are. But I would expect from any other great cinematographer or any other great director, and then. The score is by like some of the score in here I do feel like is used very well, and I know he's a pretty well renowned composer.
I don't even know who it is. Is it Ludwig Göransson still?
Yeah.
Oh well, it didn't stand out to me. I mean, I'm not even just trying to be like ultra hater. I could not tell you that I heard the score once in the movie where I was like, this is actually standing out to me, because the only thing that stands out to me in the score is that like the choir of like women, like the
yeah,
like
what we're talking about,
and
yeah.
I always thought that was the most effective part of the Black Panther score, even from the original. But no, like I'm dead serious. I did not hear the score once in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, because they obviously the Marvel movie, they did use a lot of soundtrack too in some of the scenes, like which I didn't like when
Kendrick Lamar one was better,
and when they dove into like Namor's the name of the city I can't remember right now, but yeah, so that was a little unusual, but that's choices that Elvis decided to play Doja Cat in the middle of.
Yeah,
those are just like I don't know what's wrong with choices here of thinking you want to throw pop music in the middle of something that's supposed to be subjectively good storytelling. I don't expect Doja Cat to be in Tar, and why not, right? If it's such a like. You have this $2 billion company being like, well, why? That's a choice. Be like, I don't think Ryan Coogler thought to throw a soundtrack in there. I think that's Marvel being like, well, this needs to be in here. So how could you artistically have so much control when the mouse is overlooking everything? And I think that's ultimately what's wrong with all these movies. But I think there's little glimmers of hope here. I do think some of the scenes of Namor coming out of the water look like, I don't know, or like, some of the people peeking out of the water, I thought that was interesting. I know you didn't really like the night shots too much.
And it you know what? This is not just a Marvel problem. This is a problem where like this, I don't understand what is going on with cinematographers nowadays, where this idea that you're just not supposed to see anything at night. I don't know if it's because films are trying to become more realistic, quote unquote, as times go on. This is fucking awful, and I think every time I see something at night, I compare it to Nope, because I'm like, that was beautiful how it looked. Or even The Northman had really good. Well, we talked about the volcano scene in The Northman off the pod, but The Northman was absolutely gorgeous at night. because it used interesting lighting techniques. Fucking Game of Thrones, House of the Dragons, whatever fucking bullshit is on TV, indie movies, even fucking Tar. When we watched Tar, I like leaned over you twice. I'm like, why can I not see anything? Like, and we even had to question, like, was the projector just shitty?
I do think that projector was
That
shitty,
one
by
was,
the way.
but honestly, I don't understand what the fuck is going on with lighting in movies nowadays and why they've decided artistic lighting is bad. I really don't fucking get it.
Hey man, I feel the same way about the audio. I'm like, I can never hear what the fuck these girls are saying.
Yeah, for the most part, technical movie making is like really fucking trash right now. So I honestly do think like when a movie gets nominated at the Oscars and they're talking about sound design, I'm like, yeah, no, that movie does deserve it because you know why? I can remember how Dune sounds.
Like The Green Knight.
Or yeah, like The Green Knight. I can't fucking remember shit about this movie. That's why I asked you to go first because I don't fucking remember anything. Like this movie did not stand out to me at all. The only thing I thought was interesting was literally Namor, and I'm being completely fucking biased because it was the first time I seen a Latino superhero. You know what I mean? Like
Super villain.
I've told you, not in my book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I agree to disagree. You know, this is my Killmonger, I guess, but he was literally the only thing that stood out to me, and I thought they did him completely dirty as well. In Ryan Coogler's own words, he's supposed to be as strong as the Hulk or Thor, and you're gonna this is so fucking trash. Like when they introduce something very good, like I think Namor is one of the best choices they've made in many years, you know, and I think they did him so fucking dirty and just. I wouldn't say wasted him, but you never know with the MCU. Like, is this ever going to pay off again? You know, like spoilers for Thor. Who fucking cares that he's going to fight Hercules? Like, honestly, does that really get you excited? Does that get your blood boiling that Thor might fight Hercules?
I guess it's the same way that you get Gore the God Butcher, but he dies to the first god that we see him fight. You know, so it's just it's literally comes down to that's how the comic books were written, bro. It's just that's how it was written.
I wouldn't even say that though, because the comic books do these characters way more justice.
Yeah, because there's so many stories, you know.
Yeah, because Marvel's doing it now too. Like they are becoming the comic book. Like that's part of my whole point with this is that you've expanded yourself so far, but you're not giving it like your all. Which is like, why not though? You have the resources to do it. You of all people are the only ones who can do this, and you're not doing it. Like that doesn't make sense to me because I'm sure if you really did give Denis Villeneuve an unlimited wallet, we'd have this crazy Dune universe that would probably like hold up to the movie itself, you know?
Yeah, I mean Dune is definitely that's lightning in a bottle.
And Dune is just as fucking stupid as Black Panther. Like in terms of story, like okay, this fucking space twink who's high all the time, and his son is going to be a worm. Yeah. Like, it's dumb too, but it's not dumb because the love and the care is put into it. You know, like we keep talking about Tar because we've seen it, but that's not dumb because it's real. You know what I mean? Like this is like an actual real movie.
If you guys couldn't tell, we watched this movie Tar before we watched Black Panther.
Apparently, that's my fault, right? Oh shit! Why did I watch real movies before I saw this?
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah, man. I mean, okay, whatever. Let's get back to Black Panther. What else did you like besides the shots of people sticking their heads out of water?
No,
Great defense of this movie.
No, I mean this movie seems to be even. You had kind of brought this point up is it had to reinstate Shuri as it did with T'Challa in the first one. So it follows a lot of its tropes. I thought the pacing was fine. I thought everything was good up until the third act, and then the third act completely just destroyed everything.
I did not enjoy that it had to be an origin story / grief story. You know, like I really didn't. What are you gonna do, right? I mean, they really are in a hard spot here with how they're gonna handle Chadwick Boseman's death. But I did think with the pacing that, like, you know, it's addressed in like the first act of the movie, and then by the second or third act, it's like every 15 minutes they don't want you to forget that he died. But they were also attempting to like, well, we do have to tell our own story here. So I did think that it ended up not hindering the story because that sounds awful because, you know, of course they want to remember him. But I did think it's like it just keeps going back to this. But the other story that you're setting up is trying to advance past this. So like I felt like the movie was conflicting with itself the entire time of like wanting to pay respects to Chadwick Boseman while also trying to move on. Like for a movie where Wakanda gets flooded and almost destroyed, that sure did seem like a back burner piece of the movie as opposed to, hey, we had to pay respects to Chadwick Boseman.
The in memoriam. Yeah. I mean, Again, I don't think there's ever really been too many situations where this happens,
Fast and the Furious.
or and that was handled terribly too, Be like, let's get his
also,
fake brother.
Paul Walker did not have fucking the cultural
Same love,
impact that Chadwick Boseman had on society.
Or it's like you have like, Brandon Lee, but the movie was over, right?
Yeah.
And it's like this guy was barely, this is like one of his first movies or whatever. So it's like it hasn't happened in this situation ever. And I think that it is just a resonance in terms of if you pay your respect and don't make the movie and you just recast in a couple of years, I do think that is the best choice. But that's not the best choice when you've built up a universe. The show's got to go on, which is unfortunately here one of the most evil corporate level type of choices. And I think that's why this movie, again, just goes down to who you had in place to, even if this movie ends up being, which for some reason before I thought it could turn into this, was M'Baku takes up the throne, I would have been more down. But it's just, I do not like the actress. And like you said, and it's not even because she's Shuri. Shuri could have been the Black Panther for me, but I just do not like Letitia Wright. And I had made the joke on my first Letterboxd review that it seems odd that she's so down to put something like this made in a lab in her body to find the solution, but very against that in real life. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't even tell if that's like some mastery level trolling of like, let's make this anti-vaxxer have to take a synthetic man-made medicine to become the superhero that she needs to be to save her people.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh.
I just thought it was too funny.
This is like when Disney came out and got catty with Scarlett Johansson when she said that she wasn't paid accordingly.
Yeah.
And they decided to drag her publicly.
They're like, your character's dying.
Oh man.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so what do I like here? I love
Namor.
Tenoch Huerta. He was amazing in this. I don't appreciate how they treated him as introducing, like as if he didn't exist or he wasn't an actor before this, because he's been acting for a very, very long time. I'm sure a movie that most people have not seen, but I know that me and Alvaro have seen this movie. Very violent.
That's the representation I have in Hollywood.
Like, Sin Nombre. Like, if you've seen that, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. That movie's crazy.
MS-13. That's my representation.
So, he's been around for a very long time, and then to treat him like he's just brand new actor because now most of society will figure out who he is because they only watch Marvel movies is just another kind of little icing on the cake of like, what the fuck is wrong with this? All of this, you know what I mean?
Narcos is pretty popular too. You said so.
Narcos Mexico is a very popular show, and he was a big part of the first season of that. So it's not like he is a nobody, Like you have Diego Luna because of Narcos Mexico in Andor, and you're gonna act like this guy was his co-star in the first season. Be like, so they're both kind of getting their equal due nowadays, but I just don't understand why Tenoch Huerta is being treated like he was a nobody before this, because he's not. And he's a very talented actor. He brings a lot of charisma to this role as well. I honestly think that if he would have got the chance to play across from Chadwick Boseman, that this would be an amazing rivalry like it is in the comics. Like, I don't know if most people know, because I don't know how many people who watch these movies have actually ever taken the time to learn about these characters, but the Wakanda, Atlantis, and in this case, Talokan or whatever, that this is one of the cooler rivalries in fucking comics.
Yeah.
And we're never going to get that. So it just fucking sucks, man. It's like, this movie's not very good. And then the circumstances around it make it even worse, because Chadwick Boseman died, we would have never gotten the best version of this movie no matter what happened.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, the recasting, I honestly think that this movie gave us the answer to should we recast him in the future. And yeah, we need to.
And we get that answer, which is I don't know if it could be a spoiler in terms of the mid-credit scene. Interestingly enough, I saw who is the creator of Jay and Silent Bob.
Kevin Smith.
Posted a picture of him crying right now before we started the podcast, saying that mid-credit scene alone in Wakanda Forever was worth the ticket admission. And one of my favorite comments is, what about the other 100 and dude,
what about the other 2 hours and 40 minutes?
Yeah, that had just anyways, but he was posting himself crying because of the mid-credit scene. But I do think we had already kind of spoiled one of the big ones. This is obviously another spoiler. It seems that they are setting up to just replace her, and we were kind of talking about that because as we know, they're not going to stop making these. So the best choice now would be to wait for the quote unquote kid to grow up and become the Black Panther. Because
is he going to become friends with Heimdall's son, the CGI Messy Cloud from Thor: Love and Thunder, that got worse upon revision?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, see, kind of talking about what else is wrong with. It's so interesting. Thor is so bad.
Oh man,
but
it just fucking sucks.
I think I do know that it seems like they're very aware that people weren't going to ride too much with Shuri being the Black Panther, and it's just, I don't know. There's even the scenes where you watch a hero be shot a certain way and have to feel a certain way. Usually it works, but not with Letitia Wright. Not with me, at least.
No, and I don't think anyone would argue that you're like not being fair. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's a personal. Like, I don't think she's a bad actor.
No,
I just don't think that she's fucking
lead.
No, she's not fucking the Black Panther. You know what I mean? Like, it really. I wouldn't say it feels undeserved, because in the first one it is teased. The idea has always been there since the first movie, because of because in the comic books that is a thing. But it's just not her. Like, I don't know. This is like if Ned became Spider-Man.
I mean, I told you, and we kind of talked about this, because we do get our little Us reunion here. We get Winston Duke and Lupita Nyong'o, and I would have much rather seen Lupita Nyong'o's character be the Black Panther.
Once again, Lupita Nyong'o just completely misused in a movie. When is the last time they used her the right way in anything? I would argue it was Little Monsters. That's probably one of her best performances that she was allowed to give, because I think she's a phenomenal actor that Hollywood and the rest of the world is just letting her waste away her prime years of her acting career.
Us. I mean, and
Us, yeah.
We do
Us
get one.
And Little Monsters, to me, are like the only good movies that she's been allowed to be in. I can't remember what movie it was that made her like a household name. I know it was probably was a fucking Disney movie, honestly. But
yeah.
I can't. I'll look it up eventually, but. Yeah, I mean, why not be Lupita Nyong'o? I mean, she's the best actor you have left in this story.
And I just think she has every other aspect, even in the movie, like her mom, Angela Bassett, which I did enjoy her performance in this.
Angela Bassett is not just Wakandan royalty; she's acting royalty.
I will say that every single time I see her now, I think about Keke Palmer talking about it's all in the lips for Angela every single time, and I do think a lot of her acting is pretty powerful.
It was Queen of Kotway. That's what it was called. It was on the tip of my tongue, and I just wanted to be sure it was called that. And yeah, it's a fucking.
That's how she was introduced,
it's a fucking
right?
Disney movie. Well, that's how she became like a
household name.
Yeah, really, yeah.
And then she was. We talked about before how in Star Wars she was underused too.
And 12 Years a Slave. There you go. That's what it was. So 12 Years a Slave and Queen of Kotway were the ones that really made her popular.
Always been a big fan of her, because found out she's Mexican. She knows fluent Spanish, which she uses in this movie. So I have a big love for Lupita Nyong'o.
So why does Marvel have these A-list actors and then have them in these like dumb side roles?
Like Winston Duke, I think. I do think he could carry the role of Black Panther better than, and like you said, I understand that in the comic book it's set up a certain way, but Marvel's already taken its choices to stray away from the comic books when it wouldn't make sense too much.
There's no problem with that, fucking Stanley Kubrick made The Shining, and it's not the fucking Shining.
Yep.
So that's not the problem. I don't want to act like that is, because I'm not some big mega comic book fan either, where I'm like, this needs to be like the text, because I do know a lot of people whose main problem with these movies is that they're not the comics, and I'm like, that is an even dumber reason to not like these movies.
And be like, that you can't format that, you can't compare that, you can't like put whole books, or
the page should turn when it goes see the scene.
Like, come on, dude. Too much kick-ass.
Yeah, no, so to me that is not a valid argument to not like these movies. To me, it's all about the quality and the storytelling. It's not the talent, it isn't the directors. Like, I honestly don't think the MCU directors are bad. I just think that it's like what Quentin Tarantino said. They're hired hands. Like,
I know they just strayed further from the comic books, because what they did to Hulk's son's hairline. Jesus Christ.
No. Mute your mic for 10 seconds. We're bringing that up. I got this.
Suspended.
Yeah, suspended. L plus Scar's hairline plus She-Hulk was black plus the MCU fucking sucks right now.
The MCU.
It is becoming the MCU. But that's not even a problem.
That's not even
it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, who fucking cares that they're all women? I just fucking care that their stories suck.
Yeah.
Nah, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I have anything good to say. I'm reaching for straws here, other than I like Namor, and then I was biased because he was like Mexican, Mesoamerican. You know, like that's really the only reason I was here, because I told you, like, okay, the last time I got to see this was what, Apocalypto, made by He Who Will Not Be Named, or fucking Alien, or what was it, Alien versus Predator, when they showed that they helped the Aztecs conquer back in the day and built the pyramids. Like, this is the kind of representation that we're reaching for. So I don't know. I couldn't help think of Blood In, Blood Out when I saw the Mexicans fighting the black people. That'd be like, the only person who won in this movie was the white man, who wasn't even in this fucking movie.
Another sacred movie we'll want to talk about, Blood In, Blood Out.
So like, that was another thing when I was seeing these two sets of people fight. I was just like, the only one who wins is the United States. And that, like, it just felt so, like, ironically the cherry on top that they probably don't even realize the message that they're sending, you know?
Yeah. And I mean,
whatever. I mean, I'm not. I listened to Hasanabi be like, but
wokehead.
Yeah, I'd be like, I didn't really like that either. Like, why are we pitting black people and Mexican people against each other in this movie? Like, shouldn't they be trying to take down the white man?
I mean, they formed the alliance, you know. It is very Blood In, Blood Out.
They heard the preachings of La Onda.
He's like, who wrote this story about black people fighting brown people?
The white man.
Yeah, I mean,
I know. Yes, it was Ryan Coogler, but Marvel as a whole.
No, the Marvel. Yeah,
white man,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
No, but Marvel Comics, like you said, this is a very well noted rivalry in the comic books. So this has been written down.
Why? This is a nitpick, and you know, I understand that you're not gonna have an answer to this, but we talked about Avatar, and we talked about this movie, and how come if you are indigenous or supposed to be like,
oh yeah, we're talking about
Indian or native or anything like that, they just fucking make you blue.
Yeah.
I don't like that shit. I really did not like how they turned blue. I was like, wow, I get to see my ancestors in a movie. Oh, they're fucking blue. They're aliens. Aliens built the pyramids because white people can't figure it out. Right? Like, that's how I really felt about this. I just didn't like that at all. And I don't even know if that's comic book accurate or not, because I'm not even sure what Namor. Namor is like white appearing, but I don't know if he's supposed to be white.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? But he definitely wasn't blue, and neither were his people. So I don't know, man. I know a bit about Mesoamerican mythology, so I know that some of the gods have been portrayed as blue before. But it was just weird to me, you know. It's like, this was a chance to put some Mexicans on screen, and they're like, let's make them blue. Kevin Feige said, I would rather they be blue before I put Mexicans in my movie. Yeah. Honestly, but that's a nitpick. I mean, I'm not really gonna hold it against the movie, but you know, I don't know how I felt about the representation in this movie from that point of view, because we're rarely represented, and then now we're the bad guy, kinda, from a certain point of view.
Okay, some aspects that I did like of this movie is the killer whales, riding on the killer whales.
Why not?
No, I did like it.
Oh, you do like it?
Yeah, I do like that a lot. I know you had said, even in kind of referencing another movie in the water, Aquaman, that they do a lot of that same stuff, and that's kind of you're always down with that.
I love Aquaman because it fully goes into in the same way that Avatar does, of like, this is not real, this is not supposed to look real. This dude is riding the equivalent of a dragon underwater. It's like this big shark crocodile monster that he summons from the fucking Marianas Trench. You know what I mean? And if Namor supposedly as powerful as they were making him sound like he was, why did he not just summon all this like aquatic life forces to come and fucking whoop the Wakandans?
He did say his army was bigger. He said he was holding back. He said he would dust those fools if he wanted to. I believe him. Yeah, except they just caught him with some fuego.
They dried him out.
You know, just like Patrick Star.
The Black Panther.
Sponge.
Black Panther is immune to all diseases, but he
died of disease.
Namor is as strong as the Hulk and Thor, but he got dried out like some beef jerky in the air fryer
by someone who has never fought in any of the other movies.
She's a Mary Sue. There, I'll say it. No, I'm just kidding.
So
she's not. I mean, I don't know. It really isn't it's not a Letitia Wright problem. It's a Shuri thing. You know, like, Shuri was not meant to be in this position, and now that they've had to put her here, I does feel like they're just
especially not so soon. That's why.
Yeah.
That's the big issue. Yeah, I was gonna say, but the killer whales, and I did like the scene where Namor kind of just declares war on Wakanda. I thought that was
So
really
you
cool.
like moments of this movie? Would you say you actually like the movie, or you just like moments in it? Because I would say I like moments in it, but as a whole, no, I do not like this movie. Of course, there's good stuff in it, but it's not a good movie, in my opinion.
I just think it's the story is as redundant as the first one is, and I think that's his downfall. But it's the same story, so I can't sit here and be like I don't like the story because the story is the same one from the first one.
Namor is basically Killmonger, but
And
with a more valid
and
point
her
of
at
view.
the end like crying is Chadwick Boseman finally accepting losing his dad. So I do just think it's who it is. Like that's the only reason I don't think this movie is as good as the first one. Is because it's Letitia Wright. But had it been Chadwick Boseman and had everything else and not spent a lot of its runtime trying to establish a new character and possibly having more of a face off of like more of a fight scene like we had between the door. What is it? The Dora Milaje.
The Dora Milaje or whatever.
And then some of the people from underwater. Like I
That's how good this is. Be like you obviously, obviously stuck with you because you remember their names, right,
Yeah.
or where they were from.
Exactly. So I mean, yeah, this is as good as I expect. This is as good as I expected it to be. Marvel movies kind of have like a cap in terms of how good I can really think they are, especially in this phase. I've had more of a good time watching some of their TV shows. And that's just because maybe there's more time to establish, but definitely maybe in the beginning of when the phase started than now. Like there's stuff to look forward to, but I don't have any confidence that they could really do anything anymore that I like even as much as the Batman. So I know it's not just comic book movies. I just know that the product that they're giving me now seems so made for people not my age.
I guess, yeah. I don't know because I understand that they're like it's meant for children, but I don't use that when people hate on animation. You know, like I never really fall into that category because it's like all movies should be for everybody. I mean, well, I guess that's not true, right? Because like R-rated movies and stuff like that, but.
Yeah.
I just don't see why it can't appeal to adults as well as children, and I do think the adults, or not the adults, but I do think people were there when the quality like was up to par at least, and it's not anymore. And like I don't know if that's even the argument that people are making. And yeah, it makes a lot of money. Yeah, it's whatever. But this is bigger than just I'm going to the movies because I actually like these. Like I do think there is people who are it's just like yeah, I'm subscribed. I'm gonna fucking do it. Like there's a new Marvel movie out. I'm gonna go see it. It doesn't matter what it is. Like we can't even do the thing anymore where people are pretending like, bro, Shang-Chi's my favorite character. That's why I'm going to see this movie. No one's doing that. And I mean, now with Black Panther, they can because, you know, they were either fans of the comics before and realized how goated he was, or this first movie and Civil War and Infinity War, like that made them like Black Panther stans. But nobody's a Wanda stan. Nobody is a fucking Shang-Chi stan. Nobody fucking likes Captain Marvel. Like, not even in the comic universe are these like beloved characters, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's like, why are we like, it's just people pretending now, you know? It's like, it's pop music. Do you actually like Taylor Swift, or it's just what's on the fucking radio? Like that's how I think of it. But the only difference is that there's the transaction, you know, like it's obvious. The money is there to be like, look, people like this, quote unquote. And I don't think it is. Like, how many fucking people do you think these parents who take their kids, like they even care that they like it anymore? Or it's the same thing. It's like, we're going to go see it because I know that this will keep you entertained.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. There's just so many indicators as people are like this. So
yeah, it boggles my mind that something has become so massive and now is becoming more and more and more inaccessible.
Yeah, I mean,
like how you gathered all of these people now just to kind of like push them out to be like, well, you're not a hardcore fan if you don't like this. Like, but okay, like does everybody have to be a hardcore fan to enjoy this? Like, I don't know. That wasn't how it was before. That was why they took so many liberties. It was because they weren't trying to alienate people. And now it does feel like because they've won and like they're eating their cake now, you know. And it's kind of just like, well, fuck you if you don't like this. Then you're not a hardcore fan. And I disagree with that because I was for a long time. So it'd be different if I had always hated this, you know? And like, I feel like when I first met you that you didn't really care for these movies. I kind of convinced you into watching some of them. Like, these are actually kind of cool. And you were, you know? Like,
Yeah.
and so that's even the difference before is that I liked these movies enough to like, dude, you should watch these. Like, this is worth your time. And now I would never recommend these movies to anybody. Like, you have to see this, you know?
They've already seen it. That's the thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to call it specific people, but like the people who I know in my life that I would expect to go see like Black Adam and stuff, when I ask them, they're like, no, I haven't gone and seen that. Or like Black Panther, they're like, I'll probably go see that. Or I honestly do think it's kind of like well, I'm sure I know somebody who wants to go see that. So yeah, I'll probably see it with them. But I don't know, man. Whatever. I mean, like, it's not like our opinion matters or anything. Like you said, this does nothing except for being an echo chamber for me and you to complain about this. But
I just wanted
just
the
fucking
opinion
sucks.
stated. I think I just
It's
wanted it
on
on record.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's not even a Marvel or DC thing either. Like the Batman, there's a good amount of people that think that's not a good movie, but I do. Like, so it's just the quality level, man. And like, I would like to think I'm not in the wrong, you know, just because there's people who do go see these movies and a lot of them, I don't think that they're right. And I think eventually it's going to come to light that this is not right. What's going on in the landscape of movies, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. It's very interesting to see when the bubble will burst. It's talked about the bubble being bursted for a long time.
I think it is burst, but it's just so fucking big that the time it's going to take for it to finally, for the balloon to finally deflate, is going to take a long fucking time. It's like when you poke a little tiny hole in a giant balloon. It's like it takes a couple minutes for it to empty out, right? It isn't like when you do a small one and it just like, flies across the room. This is a big fucker. Like, this is the Titanic sinking, you know what I mean? And I would like to think that it's happening, but we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. I think.
And we'll be here to piss on the grave.
Make a mention. Yeah, make a mention of the Fantastic Four, and all of it comes back. It's just
but will it be quality? You know, it's like it's going to get you back in, but then it's like now I'm not even expecting it to be good. I'm just like, okay, I do want to see that, you know. But am I going to be like, man, this is going to be as good as like Infinity War or whatever? Like, no, probably not.
No, I mean, 20-year build
Like,
up
who's
like
left to even beat Mr. Fantastic?
20 film build up like that.
Mr. Fantastic to fucking like, we already got the John Krasinski one, and then they memed and they killed him right away, and like they're now what, you know, like they've gone so far into doing what people want them to do as well that it feels like there's nothing left to even surprise people with. Like, Kang looks cool, but it's because it's Jonathan Majors. It's not because like Kang is actually going to be cool. And how many people really fucking like Kang? Like, that's a pretty deep reference.
Yeah, that is a deep reference.
It's hard to say because, you know, I know that me and you have some comic book experience, but even as people who have some comic book experience, I'm not going to sit here and cap like Kang is like, oh, you don't fucking know Kang. Like, bro, nobody does unless you actually know about this shit. So that's just my thing is like, I don't know if anybody's even, they're giving people stuff that they never even knew they wanted, you know? So I just think that's another reason why people are eating it up.
I just know Sue is Mrs. Fantastic, right?
Mrs. Fantastic?
Or no, not Mrs.
The
Fantastic.
Invisible Woman? What are you
The Invisible Woman. What? Yeah, my bad. She has because Namor is a villain to the Fantastic Four as well, isn't he?
Well, he is, but he's like an anti-hero. That's the thing, is that he's never actually been wrong about what he wants.
Yeah, exactly. What do you know? Yeah. So I think there's all those deep cuts that they're expecting people to ride for. And I honestly, at this point, I see the people riding for it. I don't know how long it'll last, though. That's what the interesting part for me. I don't know how long it'll take. Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about Black Adam for a tiny bit here. And the reason I want to bring it up is because that is like another DF list character, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you know who he is because you are aware of what comic books are, but nobody was excited for that movie, and that showed. Mm-hmm. You know, the power the power structure, the hierarchy of the power structure of the DC universe, or whatever the fuck The Rock says, it did not change because people just don't fucking care. And that's another reason why I think that what you're saying is like well, people must like this. I don't know if they actually do, or it's just the Marvel brand itself, you know? Like, I do think it's the Marvel brand. It's not the characters anymore. And like, that's what I'm trying to say is why people are still paying this money, because they're not doing it for DC, because they don't fucking know who Black Adam is, and DC hasn't given them any inclination that they even know what they're doing. So they don't trust DC.
No.
And I think Marvel has betrayed people's trust. That's the difference. Is like DC never had it and Marvel did, and is now like, what if we just started making like pretty much DC level crap and be like, oh, well, look, people will eat it up because they haven't realized that we are kind of doing this on purpose now. I don't even know what to say, you know? I know this is just a neckbeard rant for the past hour, but I don't know what else to even say. Like, I really don't, dude. And this is why, for the most part, we don't talk about movies we don't like, because I don't have shit to say about them, really.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Because it's redundant to just be like, oh, it's bad CGI. Like, everybody knows that, and we all know why. Because they fucking, oh, how about that in Disney's labor practices of how they treat their workers? Like fucking shit, and that's why the movie looks like fucking shit. Be like, and we talked about it like with Dune. Like, Dune looks good because they fucking cared, and I'm sure one or however many people, like, it was a team mission to make Dune look good.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel that way about Avatar. I know that's a different subject, that you think Avatar looks exactly as bad as Marvel movies do, but I mean, I gotta say that I don't see that, but okay, sure. But I am saying that when CGI is done with care, that it's like, we don't have to be living in this worst timeline version of CGI. Look at Davy Jones, bro, back in 2000, whatever. Be like, that shit still looks better than most stuff now. Like, the original Iron Man movie, that suit looked so fucking good when he was in the desert blowing up those terrorists. That shit looked real as fuck. But like, and now I just don't fucking get it, you know? I really don't understand.
Yeah, it's content.
I guess. Like, it's not very entertaining content either. But I mean, do you have any other nice things you'd like to say about this movie?
No, not really. I don't have too much more to say.
Are you excited for the future of the Black Panther franchise? Not Namor, the Black Panther franchise. Because he could bounce around into any universe or any of these stories, really. He could be a Fantastic Four villain. They've dropped that he's a mutant. He could be in the X-Men movie. He's not specifically tied to being in Black Panther, so...
Yeah, he could go anywhere, so... I don't know. As excited as I could be for another Marvel movie, I don't know. These movies, I take one for how it is. I don't know. I haven't even thought that far about the Black Panther universe. I know there's gonna be another one.
You've already reserved your ticket? Huh?
I mean, no, I don't know. I don't know.
Would you say that this is enough to tap out? Be like, I will not see the next Black Panther movie?
Well, it's like I only did watch this to see it in terms of it's only the second one in the entry, and I don't think it's terrible, but I don't think it's interesting either. So sometimes that's the worst thing. Like, I don't care. I think it's cool.
This is probably the most unenthusiastic episode we've ever done.
Yeah, I mean, I maybe it just has to do with the differences. I don't think it's one of the worst things I've seen, but I don't necessarily think I agree with what it does either. But, you know, I also...
This is what all great art does. Leave me feeling completely neutral, like I never even happened. Like, that's a good sign. That's a sign of some good art, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah.
Yep. Like, that's how I feel. Dead inside after watching this. Like, well, yeah, that wasn't terrible. That wasn't the best thing I've ever seen. Be like, but
I mean, this is just like the issues that I have with any other movie we've talked about before that I didn't like, and this movie just has all the same issues that I expect in like Valerian, or like I keep bringing up before. Like, this is just like whatever it would be with Malignant, like CGI. This is just CGI. Like, CGI never excites me, which is why I don't feel like personally I have such an affection to the animation either, because I always kind of feel like this is all like not real.
But Dune and Arrival do.
Yeah, because it's based off one person, or Blade Runner. It's one. There's certain directors or certain people who do have certain things that can really get it to feel as real as it can be. And it's because I do think it's on-set things. I do think it's not all. There's practical effects being used here, which I think just takes more time and more curation. And Dune is already being recorded now, and then it's going to be dropping next year. And I think they just have Warner Brothers knows what it has in Denis Villeneuve or knows what it has in Matt Reeves. But I don't think it necessarily comes as a whole for me that all of a sudden I'm excited for things that want to use so much CGI. And so to me, it's like this movie is not as good as the first one, obviously, but in what is shown for Phase 4, I couldn't expect anything different. And there is a lot of, like I said, a lot of the choices that I do see in this movie visually, or a lot of shots in here, or the story, I've seen it before, or they do stand out, but I'm not going to sit here and act like I thought that was one of the best movies I've seen after I've seen so many other movies this year.
Yeah. You know, my closing take would be Ryan Coogler. You should run while the getting is good. Go back to making real movies because you are a talented filmmaker. Yeah. Namor, cool. Give me more of that. I'll check in for that. But yeah, I think I'm kind of done with the Black Panther universe itself and most of the Marvel stuff, I would say, because like I didn't really think Werewolf by Night was that good. I didn't think She-Hulk was very good. I gave that a few episodes. Shang-Chi, I like it, but it's because I like kung fu stuff. It wasn't because like, wow, Shang-Chi is actually really good. I was at such a low point at that time that I almost saw the G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra or whatever Snake Eyes, whatever. I almost saw that movie, so then I was like, okay, I'll just see Shang-Chi instead. But yeah, just overall left pretty unenthused by my theater experience today. So, but hey, you got my theoretical money from A-List, so good on you, Disney, I guess.
They got an episode out of us. They're staying at the hotel, so
it was nice to have one episode in here where we're like, you know what? I brought you here to bully you.
This is my second one because, like I said, I didn't like Malignant, so this was my guess. I did like this film more than Malignant, so that episode was worse going through than this one.
But would you say that you're like, it's better to have a worse reaction than than just feeling mild instead of like, I don't feel either way about this, but like at least that made me feel something?
No, because this is a better movie than that movie.
Ugh, okay, let's just end the pod on that. Okay, goodbye.
Bye.